Hi guys, this is easy as 123, and today I'm going to talk about a topic that always intrigued me, and that was insulin resistance. I remember in school they always talked about how diabetes mellitus type 2 is because of insulin resistance, and acanthosis nigricans is because of insulin resistance. And you have to give insulin to a patient because there's insulin resistance and you have to give more. But I never really understood the concept of insulin resistance. No one ever talked about it. No one ever said when will you say something is insulin resistant or not. So I did a lot of research and this is what I came up with. So basically insulin resistance is defined as a requirement of more than 200 or more units of insulin per day to control hyperglycemia and to prevent ketosis. So then I had to find out what was the normal requirement. So it's kind of interesting is that the normal requirement of insulin is zero point 0.5 to 1 unit per kg in a person, and depending on how much you weigh. So if a person is, well, let's say a 70-kilogram person, which they usually talk about, you might need 0.7, so that's about 49 units. So you can see 49 and that's 200. That's almost 4 times more insulin that you need. And why did I say a normal person? Because no one ever says that. In the books you always read about an obese patient getting insulin resistance, but that's not always true, because a lot of people, example, I would say my dad has diabetes and he's not fat at all. If anything, he's more fit than me. But a lot of times if your work is stressful, that leads to hormones such as cortisol and epinephrine being released, and because of that they cause more glycogen breakdown. Especially epinephrine causes glycogen breakdown, and then cortisol leads to more gluconeogenesis, so that makes the glucose in your body even high, so more insulin has to be secreted in response to that. So insulin resistance is not only for the obese, it's also for people that have stressful jobs or have a lot of stress in their life. um, it occurs with them as well. So the normal range is zero point 0.5 to 1 unit per kg in a normal person. Insulin resistance becomes 200 units or more, which is absurd and crazy. So that's basically an introduction. So what are the causes of insulin resistance? Broken down the causes into pre-receptor, uh, receptor, and post-receptor. The preceptor, the most two important causes are insulin mutation and anti-insulin. So in the mutation, either the insulin is not the right insulin, so it can't bind to the receptor, or the insulin has a very short half-life, even shorter than normal. So it's there, but it doesn't last for long, so it can't do work for a long time. And the second is anti-insulin antibodies. So your insulin is there, it's going to the receptor, trying to get there, and bam, the antibody comes and gets it and then attaches to it and then doesn't let it do its work. Okay, so what are the causes of receptors? Okay, so in the receptor, what's going to happen is that either the insulin is going to go and bind to the receptor, but the receptor has been downregulated because of increased stimulation of insulin over and over again, because of obesity or stress. And what's going to happen is that the tyrosine kinase is not going to activate and autophosphorylation is not going to happen. Second thing that might happen, that insulin receptor might undergo mutation. So when insulin does come and attach, it doesn't autophosphorylate. And third is that the receptor gets antibody on it. So even if insulin comes, poor insulin can't attach to it. And the third and the last is the post receptor. So what happens is that usually when insulin comes to the receptor and autophosphorylation happens, signal transduction comes and activates GLUT4, and then GLUT4 go to the membrane and of skeletal muscle and adipose tissue, allowing glucose to come in. But what's going to happen, there's going to be defective signal transduction, so GLUT4 are not going to get activated, And due to that, what's going to happen, glucose is not able to come in, and because of that, more insulin has to be secreted to work on the channels or the receptors that are doing signal transduction. The last is the mutation of the GLUT4. In the mutation of the GLUT4, like I just talked about, GLUT4 won't be able to go to the membrane, allowing glucose to come in. And that's it, guys. I did my best, and hopefully it made you understand insulin resistance in a new way, or if you didn't know, maybe gave you a concept that you can use.